for hanging in there through all of our technological glitches. But I think we've got them all worked out now. We hope and pray and grateful that you're here with us. And we want to thank Hal Robinson for being here with us this morning.
And for his patience with the technological process. We've had multiple opportunities to practice the presence and the still place inside.
And Hal's talk today is about relationships. So, relationship with technology is part of it too. And here we are, just 30 minutes behind schedule, but here we are.
Thanks to those of you who tuned back in. And we look forward to celebrating with you.
So we're going to sing our song, Come Celebrate, and we will bring Hal back in just a few moments. Thank you for being with us.
Come celebrate, gather together, come celebrate, one by one, come celebrate, now and forever, let us remember we are one. Come celebrate, join in a circle, come celebrate, side by side, come celebrate, now and forever, let us remember we are one. Celebrate, celebrate, come celebrate, 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 come celebrate, 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 come celebrate, yes, come celebrate, join in a circle, come celebrate, heart open wide, come celebrate, now and forever, let us remember we are one. We are one. We are one.
So we invite you to, as we begin our celebration, to join us in honoring the four directions. If you're able to physically turn and face into each of the four directions, and then turn a fifth time to that divine place within each one of us. So if you're able, we'll begin by facing to the east with our chant, O Great Spirit, earth, sun, sky, and sea. You are inside and all around me.
O Great Spirit, earth, sun, sky, and sea. To our inside and all around me.
And turning to the south.
Oh, Great Spirit, earth, sun, sky, and sea, you are inside and all around me.
Facing to the west.
Oh, Great Spirit, earth, sun, sky, and sea, you are inside and all around me.
Turning into the north.
Oh, Great Spirit, earth, sun, sky, and sea, you are inside and all around me.
And returning to the place within.
Oh, Great Spirit, earth, sun, sky, and sea, you are inside and all around me.
Oh, Holy One, Holy Wonder, we open our hearts to you in this moment. We join with all of creation, with the two-leggeds and the four-leggeds, the winged ones, the ones that swim and crawl with the rocks and trees, the grasses, with the seas, the skies, the stars, the oceans, with all of the universe. We affirm our oneness. We affirm we are one. Together, we are one. And once again, we are one. And feeling this opportunity, feeling the blessing of honoring and nurturing all of creation, all of ourselves and each other, right here, right now. For this, we say thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. From this place, I invite you to join me in our simple chant. We are opening in sweet surrender to the love light of the One. We are opening in sweet surrender to the love light of the One. We are opening in sweet surrender to the love light of the One. We are opening, opening, opening. We are opening in sweet surrender to the love light of the One. We are opening in sweet surrender to the love light of the One. We are opening, opening. We are opening, opening.
So, opening into that sweet surrender, I invite you to hear the words of Joy Harjo. This is one of my favorites. The title is Remember. Remember the sky you were born under. Know each of the stars' stories. Remember the moon. Know who she is. Remember the sun's birth at dawn. That is the strongest point of time. And remember sundown and the giving away tonight. Remember your birth, how your mother struggled to give you form and breath. You are evidence of her life and her mother's and hers. Remember your father. He is your life also. Remember the earth whose skin you are. Red earth, black earth, yellow earth, white earth, brown earth. We are earth. Remember the plants, trees, animal life who all have their tribes, their families, their histories too. Talk to them. Listen to them. They are alive poems. Remember the wind. Remember her voice. She knows the origin of this universe. Remember, you are all people, and all people are you. Remember, you are this universe, and this universe is you. Remember, all is in motion, is growing, is you. Remember, language comes from this. Remember the dance language is. that life is. Remember. Remember.
From place of remembering, we'll call you to time of communion breath, sharing that which is vital to us all, that which we share wherever we are, however we are. We're breathing the same air, continuously recycled over and over for millennia.
So let's take 4 long, deep communal breaths together. And as we inhale, I invite you to not just ingest this air that you're breathing, but to fully digest it, take it in fully, mindfully. And as we exhale, let us release all that is past so that we can now come more fully present into this precious moment together. So with the sound of the bowl, we'll inhale 4 times together, beginning with the first. And again. And once more. Truly, we are one. Rudy's going to share one of my favorite songs.
If I met you on the corner, would I know you for who you are? Would I take you as a stranger and rush past you in the door? If you called me, would I hear you? Would you walk away too soon? If I lingered for a moment, would I see myself in you? If I fought you, soldier, if I had you in my sight, would you ask me to remember who imagined I was right? If you witnessed my surrender, do I know what I would do? If you held me like my brother, would I see myself in you? Well, I dreamed my end was near, I was almost gone. And if I dream that dream from here, could I still come home? If you call me, would I hear you? Would I walk away too soon? If you held me like my lover, would I see myself in you? If you held me like my mother, would I see myself in you?
What a touching song. See myself in you. That's what relationships are about. So we're going to welcome back Hal Robinson to share his words and wisdom with us. Thank you, Hal.
Oh, good morning. Happy to be here. Really happy to be here. This gives me an opportunity to share some stuff I've been learning, working to understand. As I look out at the world, I mean, I just don't get it. I can see change happening, and that seems like a good thing. So today I'm going to talk about relationships, but mostly communication in relationships, meaning how I speak to people, the words I use, and the implications of my words. So asked for some help from an elder, an indigenous person, and said, okay, older sister, help me out here. I want to understand a lot of what's going on in the world. I read this article in National Geographic about a year ago in April that made it clear that race is a made-up word, that all humans are the same race. And since my pre-med was in genetics, I learned that back in 1965, 66, that all humans are the same race. And so she said to me, there's a lot of different horses, but you don't say different races of horses. And there's a lot of different birds, but you don't say different races of birds. So she said, for indigenous people, we're clearly all the same race, with two legs and our eyes face forward. And if you cut my arm, I bleed red and you bleed red. So skin color has got nothing to do with race. That's just not a good word for humans. You know, personally, I agree with that. It's a poor use of the language. If that sounds like a judgment, excuse me, I don't care. I still think it's a poor use of language. So I asked her to expound a little bit on it. I said, well, tell me what it means to you when people say racist. And she said, well, to her, it means that somebody that's a racist believes that they're separate races. Okay, yeah, I can see that. That makes sense. So tell me what else. And she said, well, for her, if she has the word race, racism, racist, and she turns it over and looks underneath it, what she sees is prejudice and bigotry and the discrimination that results from prejudice and bigotry. So she thinks better words are prejudice and bigotry. And she said, however, if I turn over those words and I look underneath, what I see down there is judgment, the energy of judgment, maybe the opposite of love, the yin yang of things. Because judgment's required for war, judgment's required for fighting, for divorce, judgment's required to close my heart to other people. So this talk today is about our language and in relationship. Obviously, when my words are critical and judgmental of other people, that creates distance. I close my heart, and the other person knows that. So asking the teacher to expound a little bit, she said that she thought it was real important not to use the word racism. So ask her to, fill in a blank here. Tell me. She said, well, for her, if she keeps saying the word racism, then she keeps implying that there are separate races. And she doesn't want to do that. So she's real particular. She uses the word judgment or bigotry or prejudice and the resultant discrimination. So she said you may want to encourage your children and grandchildren to use different words so they're unconsciously or maybe semi-consciously agreeing with the idea that they're separate races. So this led into another talk that she just kind of smoothed right into. She said, people often say they're a victim of racism. And it's like saying, you hurt my feelings, you ruined my day, you pissed me off. And whenever I say those things, I say, you piss me off. Like you're up here and I'm down here. And I'm a leaf at the mercy of your wind. You do these things and you change my energy. And I can't help it. There's nothing I can do. You change my energy. Oh, poor me. From her view, from the indigenous view, and from a stalker's view, those are the kind of things we want to look for. How often we talk like that? Like we say, you changed how I feel. I'm a victim of you. What we seem to know from holistic medicine is that whenever my thoughts are in the victim role, the victim mode, oh, poor me, this is wrong, spirit made a mistake, you hurt my feelings, that actually, those thoughts actually create emotions. And the emotions create feelings in the body. And thoughts of victimhood lower serotonin. And they raise the stress hormones. Fascinating stuff. So I can have some control over my serotonin level, my homocysteine, and my cortisol, or stress hormones, and my file in a general sense, by what thoughts and what language I use, particularly in relationship. So if I'm saying to people, you ruined my day, your beliefs hurt my feelings, then what I'm saying is I'm in a victim role to you. And then the other part is I want you to change so I'll feel better. So like me feeling better is dependent on you changing. So from her view, that's insane. Not clinically insane, like we don't think we're Napoleon or it's snowing outside, but it's insane anyway, because I'm saying I'm a leaf at the mercy of the wind. There's nothing I can do. I can't be happy unless you change. So right after that talk, I had an experience of talking to a lawyer over on the East Coast and her mother over on the West Coast. And the lawyer is, well, she says she's a Northeastern liberal. And she's just upset about Mr. Trump. And her mother's going to vote for Trump. And she actually said to her mother, you know, if you vote for that him, I'm not going to speak to you anymore. Which is why her mother called me. She said, I think my daughter's going nuts. And I said, well, no, she's just acting like a lot of other people. If you don't do it my way, I'll be upset. You have to do it my way. But literally, her daughter has said to her, if you don't vote the way I want you to vote, I'm going to close my heart, which is the ultimate judgment. I close my heart to you if you don't talk the way I want you to. And sometimes people do this in other relationships. And according to Sister, and the way it looks to me, is whenever I'm in the victim role for anything, that my heart closes, my communication shuts down. So even if I'm in a victim role to my health at the moment, oh, poor me, my health is not good, or oh, poor me, somebody ran into my truck. Those things just don't work very well. It seems to work in a different way to act like Sister calls a warrior, we call a stalker, to ask the question, what is this? How come this is in my life? What am I supposed to learn from this? So for my life, there's a lot of communication stuff going on right now. Like my cell phone and my computer, my Facebook page is not accessible. So I'm wondering, you know, what can I learn from this? Because of my Scorpio nature, I'm just tempted to say, well, okay, I'll just retreat and go back in the cave and I'm out of the game for a while. However, Sister encourages me that that's not it. To help the people and share the medicine and stay on the clock. So in relationship, if I'm with somebody and they do something that I react to, I have two roads I can follow. One of them is, I'm upset and it's your fault, you be different. Oh, poor me. The other one is, I'm reacting to something you said or did. Boy, I am reacting. This pushes an old button. Being with you helps me find a button. Give me a minute to take a couple deep breaths and explore this. And you know, the interesting thing, whenever I explore those buttons, I find out that stuff's not new, that reaction is not new. I've been reacting that way, you know, maybe 60, 70 some years, well, not 70. When I was little, I didn't react too much. I've been reacting like that for a long time. So being with you and in this interaction now is helping me find an old button. Whoopila, thank you. That requires a higher level of consciousness, I think. I believe it requires us being willing to say that you don't hurt my feelings. You're not responsible for how I feel. You can dance however you want to, and if I don't like it, that's my business. You can talk however you want to, and if I don't like it, that's my business. And so I can either get over my judgments of you, or I can just stay away from you. From Sister's point of view, no one has the right to tell anybody else how to behave, how to talk, how to think. Just for indigenous people, that's crazy. I heard it another way the other day, that you can't legislate morality, that you can't make laws to make people behave a certain way. So some people have been references the book 1984 by George Orwell, about everybody talks the same way and acts the same way and thinks the same way, and because we don't want anybody to get offended. I won't dance that way because you might be offended, and I won't vote that way because you might be upset, and I won't say certain words because you might be upset. And the other part of that is because you get upset, because you're in the victim role, you get to decide how I talk, how I dance, how I walk. And again, for some of us, that's insane. I don't have the right to tell anybody how to behave or talk. So in relationships, it's important to do what I think Don Miguel Ruiz was talking about, to be impeccable with our word. That over the years that I've been sharing this medicine, what I've come to this last year is it might be good for me to emphasize more how magic words are. That the use of certain words sets up something inside of me. I'm doing the magic inside of me. Now, there might be some reaction from the person I'm in a relationship with. However, if I use victim words about what's going on in my life, I'm doing some magic inside of me. One of the elders called it black magic. Now, I suppose at some point somebody's going to be offended by calling it black magic. But they've been using that word for a couple thousand years, so it's good for me. So if you're offended by that word, okay. Somebody helped you find a button that belongs to you. You can either look at that button, or you can want people to use words that don't offend you. Good luck with that. So for the rest of us, we're looking at how easily we are offended, how often we want other people to be different. Actually, we want a lot of things to be different. And sometimes we actually hook our happiness to other people's behavior, which I know sounds kind of astounding. However, a lot of us have done that for a long time. And it's not because we're stupid or brain damaged. We grew up in families where people had that belief system. Like, if you act different, then I'll be okay. And I won't be okay until you act different. And the corollary is, because I get upset about the way you act, I get to tell you the right way to behave. And I know that probably sounds crazy. However, it does seem to be going on a lot in the world. So spirits helping me out by sending people and giving me opportunities to talk with people that are following that sort of program. You be different, and then I'll be happy. People that are doing something in their mind with the way they're looking at the world as a victim, and it doesn't seem to be working. I saw a quote in this book called An Experiment in The Course in Miracles by a lady named Pam Grout. She wrote E squared and E cubed. Great stuff. The quote was, "We have mistaken punishment for justice, and we have mistaken fighting for proper action." And when I read that, I thought, well, that's pretty cool. I like that quote. I wish I'd said that. But I can use it as long as I acknowledge it. So I appreciate that learning, that perspective, that punishment is not justice. That's based in judgment. Judgment, blame, criticism, and then punishment. And because of our prison system has the largest population of any prison system in the world, this stuff might not be working. Punishment. Now, that's not to presume I have a whole bunch of better ideas, because I don't. I can say that punishment doesn't work. I raised 3 children, and I've had a part in raising some grandchildren, and punishment doesn't work. I mean, it really doesn't. And when people attempt to punish me, I reacted. I got rebellious, and that didn't work either. So I'm looking a lot at language, and language is related to thoughts. People can pretty much tell what kind of thoughts I have by what kind of language I use. Am I using us language? We're here together and I'm reacting to you and you're helping me learn something about me. Because relationships are a good place to find that. Probably you all know that in social situations, we can hide a lot of our stuff. We can smile and be social and be pleasant, even if we're, a lady said to me the other day, when her stepdaughter came to visit, that she's smiling and polite. She said underneath that, she said, "I want to slap the hell out of you." But she said she would never say that. So what we were doing is using those thoughts to find out how angry she is at her stepdaughter. And then when we found the anger, we found out that underneath the emotion of anger is the judgment. She has a lot of judgments of her stepdaughter. And an interesting thing is, one of her judgments is her stepdaughter just won't be honest. And then she found out that she won't be honest either. She really doesn't like some of the things her stepdaughter does in her house. And because she has some fear of her husband's judgments, she will not speak up to her stepdaughter about being dishonest. And she finds this very frustrating, which we're hoping for. It appears none of us change until we're frustrated enough. That's not angry enough, that's frustrated enough. In this format, in this indigenous way of looking at the world as a stalker, judgment, thoughts of judgment create the emotion of anger. Other people don't create my anger. And so if I go around saying to people, "You've created my anger. This statue makes me angry." Hello? Okay. If you believe that stuff, good for you. Some of us just don't find that that's a useful trail to blame the world for our emotions and then ask the world to be different so we won't be upset. So this has nothing to do with politics. I hope you all are clear about this. I'm trying to be clear about this. This has to do with relationship. What kind of thoughts do I have and what kind of language do I use in relationship? Am I facilitating us or am I judging and criticizing? Well, at this point, it seems clear to me, at least for me, that when I'm angry and I'm upset, my thoughts are judgmental. When I'm feeling guilt or shame, my thoughts are self-judgmental. So part of this, if I don't want to be so reactive to people anymore, would be to agree with the belief that my thoughts create my emotions. And in relationship, I don't blame other people for creating my emotions. I don't ask people to be different so I won't be upset. It's from my view and what Sister told me, it's a more adult view. Her view is 4-year-olds tell people, you don't talk that way, I'll be upset. If you do that, I'll pick up my ball and go home. 4-year-olds want to control the world, actually believing that other people are responsible for how they feel. Now, of course, in the extreme, if a child is abused by somebody, then that's a different format. That's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about adults wanting to be responsible and have healthy, loving relationships with each other. So I believe I am saying that in order to have a healthy, responsible relationship, it's important for me to agree that other people are not responsible for how I feel. I don't get to say other people make me angry. Well, I can say that, just nobody in my group is going to believe it. We're going to kind of wonder about you. How old are you? You really want the world to change so you'll be happy? Hello. Good luck. I don't think it's going to work. So most of us won't change us until we get real frustrated. Fritz Perls, the father of Gestalt therapy in the United States, said that people don't change until they're frustrated. And he was a master at frustrating people. Basically, that's Gestalt psychotherapy. Finding what people react to and bringing it up to awareness. And that frustrates people. So when we're frustrated enough, maybe we'll change. Maybe we'll commit to the idea that in my thoughts and in my communication, I'm going to give up blaming the world for how I feel. And so somebody said to me a very interesting thing. Well, how do you find this stuff? And the answer, of course, is always awareness and responsibility. The two legs of stalking. One leg's awareness, and one leg's responsibility. And so this was an attorney that drove in from Houston to see me. And he said, I have trouble doing this stuff. I said, well, you drive a really nice car. You drive this big BMW. Tell me what happens when somebody pulls in front of you. And he started laughing, and he said, man, that's it. All you have to do is pull in front of me, and out of my mouth comes up to judgments, names, bad names, criticism. All you have to do is pull in front of me. And my whole energy changes, and I actually am cursing you. And he said, God, it's embarrassing to admit that. I said, yeah, how quickly we do that. How quickly we move from peace into judgment. Somebody pulls in front of us. And he said, it's really funny that you bring this up, because I just got a case in road rage where some guy got so upset by somebody else pulling in front of him, he reached under the seat and pulled out his pistol and shot out their back window. And there were children in the car. And this guy's reason was, you piss me off, you pull in front of me. I had to hit my brakes and pull over to the side. Sorry, brother, that's not enough to go shooting at people. That's not going to get it. So this gentleman may be spending some time in jail, at least, maybe even prison. And I don't know if that punishment is going to work. It might be good if he could get some help looking at the fact that he is a leaf at the mercy of the wind. And that affects a lot of his relationships. I suspect that, as this lawyer told me, he's so reactive to other people pulling in front of him. As we went along in our talk a little bit, he said he's that same way with his sweetie, that he could be in a good mood coming home from work, and she'll say something, and he'll immediately react. And he actually says things to her like, damn it, every time you do that, that really pisses me off. I really want you to change that. And so he's sending her a lot of judgment. So it kind of brings us around in a circle, at least for me, that if I am calling somebody a racist, you're a racist, I'm saying to them, you judge people because of their skin color or their ethnicity or, geez, whatever reason. Maybe they're short, maybe they're skinny, whatever. You judge people and close your heart to them. So my response is to judge you for judging them. And I'm reckoning if y'all are tuned into this, y'all know where that goes. That judging other people for judging seems to build the judgment. And it seems to work that way internally. If I learn that a lot of my thoughts, and I was taught to think this way, it's not my fault. If a lot of my thoughts move into judgment pretty easily, then the next gate, or the gate that people seem to want to pass through to learn this, is to realize then my judge will judge me for being judgmental. Like that. So judging other people for being racist is becoming what we hate. I hate it that you hate people because they're a different color. So I'm going to hate you for hating people. Right, that's insane. A couple of years ago, a guy came in, his wife asked him to come because he got upset a lot. He told me he hated prejudiced people. What? What? Give me a minute. You hate prejudiced people. What? So it took us a little while. He got to the place where he understood that prejudice was judgment, withholding, closing the heart, criticizing, blaming, wanting somebody to be different. And that he was right there wanting prejudiced people to be different. And he said, I don't know how to live with them. And I said, yeah, that's true. You don't. We don't know how to keep our heart open when our mind moves into judgment. So how do I keep my heart open? Well, you can do all those open heart exercises, Om, sit around and sing Kumbaya if you want. You can do that kind of stuff. Or the indigenous way, the stalking way, is to start to stalk, explore the voice of judgment that lives in my mind, and to learn how active it is. And then the next step on that trail is to notice how often I might agree with my judgments. My judgments are dead in the water unless I give it my agreement. And sometimes my agreement is pretty automatic. Like it's possible to see a politician on TV. I don't watch much TV, but I was at a relative's house and they were watching TV. And some politicians were on TV. And one of my relatives, God, what a dumbass that guy is. And he was really upset. And I looked at my relative and I said, you don't like him? He said, man, I hate that guy. I'm looking at my relative and I said, tell me how you're doing. He said, man, I'm really upset. And I said, I understand. I think hate does that. I think when my thoughts are judgmental, they create certain emotions, and that makes me sick. So, I mean, here it is. This is holistic medicine in a nutshell. When I judge other people, I create distance. In relationship, if I want intimacy, it's not going to work. When I judge other people or my thoughts judge myself, then I create turmoil within me. There's a lady that came to see me and she said, I have trouble with other people, how judgmental other people are. I said, yeah, you're seeing that a lot? She said, yeah, I'm seeing that a lot. She said, I am not judgmental. And I said, okay. She said, you don't believe me? And I said, well, no, actually. It seems to me that the amount of judgment I see externally and I react to could be equal to the amount of judgment inside of me. And she said, I don't think so. I am just not a judgmental person. So we agreed to meet again. And before she left, she said to me, I noticed when I came into your office, there's a couple of things that'd really be good for you to change around. It would be so much better. I said, but tell me. She said, well, it just doesn't look very good the way you've got it set up. It really would be better. I said, you're not judging my office, are you? She said, oh, no, I'm just trying to help. And we both started laughing because we knew that was elephant caca. She thinks that if I were different or my office were different or if I cut my hair different, it'd be better. And actually, she shared with me in the next visit, she has a list of things. And she has this belief that even though she has a list of things of how other people could be different and they would be better, it's for their own good, you understand? That's not judgment. So she hasn't quite made that jump yet. That when I want the world to be different, I'm sitting in judgment. And she's really honest. She told me that she has a terrible time getting along with people. That most people she doesn't get along with at all. And so I asked her to tell me, most people, she said, yeah. I said, tell me if you have a list for them too. She said, I do. I have a list for most people. She said, if I could talk with God, I actually have a list for God, that some things would be different. And I really think that if I could have this conversation with God, that I could kind of straighten things out, that it's possible God's so busy he's missed a couple things. But I see him. I see him. And if I could talk with God, I don't know what to tell you about that other than you don't seem to believe that Spirit's in charge. She said, oh, I do. I believe Spirit's in charge. It's just that. So, yeah. So in relationship, it's really easy to hide a lot of that stuff in the social. In intimate relationships, one-on-one, it gets a little more challenging. It appears that in relationships that are intimate or one-on-one, or hopefully are loving, the person I'm with can help me find buttons, reactions, judgment, blame, criticism that I'm not aware of in social situations or I've got buried. So relationships in that way are very helpful to me anyway. And Jermaine Sitting Crow, Tanke, the older sister, suggested that that's where I do a lot of my exploring in relationships. She said to me that you're really good at getting along with people in the social. She said, it'd be good for you to explore in the intimate relationships, one-on-one, how quickly you can close your heart. And I didn't want to hear that. I didn't like that. However, that was true. That was true. Social stuff is really easy. Intimate relationships bring up all of my unfinished business. So another lady came in, I think it was Thursday afternoon, and said that she's having difficulty seeing the light in her mother. And her mother had crossed over like 40 years ago. She's like 84, I think. And she's understanding that she doesn't want to cross over with all this hard feelings toward her mother. She just doesn't want to cross with that. So she's been doing this experiment of putting her mother in a chair and seeing the light in her mother, literally. Seeing her mom as one of Creator's creations with the light of Creator within her. And she said, I can't do that because as soon as I do that, my history with my mother comes up. So where she got to is, this is the stuff that's unforgiven. I'm still judging my mother about this stuff. And now I see that my judgments of my mother and my history, where I see myself as a victim to my mother, are in the way of me seeing the light in my mother. So I'm not going to be able to see the light in everybody unless I give up my victim role and my history, where I hold on to my history to justify keeping my heart closed. But on the other hand, for my spiritual growth, I really don't want to cross over with all this hard-heartedness to my own mother. She said, I understand at a cognitive level that's crazy, not clinically crazy, but that's functionally crazy on a spiritual path. She said, so I realize, even though I don't want to believe it, and the fun part is this woman's a professional therapist. So this is really important for her. Like, how am I going to help my patients do this if I'm not doing this? My goodness, I can't teach anybody to swim if I don't know how to swim. So yeah, it presents a very frustrating dilemma for her. I admire her courage. I'm unable to see the light of my mother because I'm holding on to my history. And holding on to my history means I'm holding on to my victimhood. Oh, poor me, my childhood was hard. It would have been better if my mother was different. So possibly you see the trap. This lady's in a trap. Professionally, it's important for her to do a good job with her patients. And she realized she can't teach anybody to clear their history if she's not willing to do it. And hanging on to her victim role, she realizes that with patients that come in that she sees, she often gets sucked into the victim role, where people come in with a victim story and she starts feeling sorry for them. So we talked about feeling sorry for people is not the same as compassion. Those are not the same thing. The feeling is really different. Compassion, the heart opens. I feel close and one. Feeling sorry for somebody is sort of like looking down on them. You know, geez, that sucks. Sorry it's going that way. So this very brave lady is in a professional crisis, a relationship crisis, and a spiritual crisis. And she's catching on that this has a connection to her acid reflux. So in this framework, she's kind of doing the stalker's view, that if it affects me physically, acid reflux emotionally, I'm angry and upset mentally, my thoughts are full of judgment. This is probably a spiritual issue, all 4 dimensions. So if I want to grow spiritually, my mama here, this one I won't look at with seeing the light in her. So the other part I want to say today is we changed the word, I can't look at my mother with light, to I won't look at my mother with light. I won't see the light in my mother. I'll see my history. I won't see the light in my mother. Then she begins to take responsibility. Can't implies I'm not able. Like I can't fly yet. Working on it. But I can't fly yet. I'm not able. I can't walk through that wall yet. I think it's possible, but I can't do it yet. But I'm probably able. So if I move in to quit saying I can't love you the way you are, I can turn to be more responsible and say, actually, I won't. I'm holding on to my history or my judgments. So I think that's the end of my story today. I'm looking at the clock. I may have gone longer than 20 minutes. If that's a problem, sorry, Zet and Rudy, but I'm glad to be here. I thank you for the opportunity. It helps for me to process this stuff. I'm so grateful to have people like elders that I can ask and to give me straightforward answers. So anyway, I just had a lot of gratitude today. A lot of frustrations last week. I got to see how quickly I began to judge my computer. What the hell's the matter with you? And then I got upset. So the last thing I want to say today is my judgments of other people in the world create suffering for me. My judgments create suffering for me. I think that's you reap what you sow stuff. So anyway, thank you all. My prayer is it was somewhat useful to some of you. It certainly was to me. Thank you, Zet and Rudy. I appreciate the opportunity. I appreciate you all persevering with this. So, Wopi Latanka, biggest thank you. Yohano Shante Waste Napasa Yusupi. I greet you all with an open heart and a warm hand. And I thank you. Wopi Latanka, big thank you. Hoka.
Wow. Thank you, Hal, for great insight today. And I think Rudy's got a song about being that leaf, the mercy of the wind.
Some things can't be figured out no matter how I try. Reasons won't reveal themselves, no use asking why. Instead of looking to the past, trying to figure out how, open up my eyes and ears to Spirit speaking now. Watching and listening for the voices that I hear. Judgment, self-importance, pity, fear. Turning to look at the choices I've made. My inner judge just never gave me a good grade. I was a leaf at the mercy of the wind, blown this way and that way, time and time again. I bless the painful choices I somehow chose, and I choose to travel on a good red road. I was a leaf being blown around. I was a leaf turning upside down. Instead of my anger, shame or neglect, what my shadow really wanted was my respect. Yeah, I was a leaf at the mercy of a wind, blown this way and that way, time and time again. I bless the painful path that I clearly chose, but I choose to travel on the good red road. Yeah, now I choose to travel on the good red road.
Oh, so as we sink into that situation where we are at a leaf at the mercy of the wind, and our judgments about it, and we give thanks for the rich stories and powerful words that Hal shared with us today. So let's take a few moments to allow these words and this wisdom to be heard with the ears of our heart and sink into the fullness of our being. So with your eyes open or your eyes closed, I invite you to take a few moments to open yourself to the awareness that there are many guides, many teachers, many opportunities, and many ways of learning. Perhaps there were some specific words or phrases that came through Hal this morning that spoke to your heart, to your experience, to your dreams, to your challenges, to your relationships. Perhaps there were seeds planted in your consciousness that will come to fruition in ways you can't begin to imagine right now. So as we sink into short period of silence now, alone and together. Let us open to the awareness of life calling us forward and onward, each in our own way, as we sit in the silence, alone and together. And now, won't you take a moment to remember that you are not the only one to benefit from this time, this way of learning, this teaching, this way of knowing, this stalking. Won't you open to the awareness that there are others, loved ones and strangers alike, blessed by your willingness to learn and to grow, to face and embrace your shadows, your challenges, as well as your blessings, and all the many lessons that come your way. Won't you take a few moments to send conscious blessings to another person or persons or situation by simply sending forth your love, your light, your prayer, your affirmation for the highest good for everyone. May you, may we, may all beings be blessed by our willingness to do this. And so it is. Amen.
Here I am stalking my enemy. Here I am learning to see. Here I am stalking my enemy, stalking deep inside of me. The enemy who's lurking in my shadow, smirking at me for so long. The one who keeps on telling me all the ways that I've been wrong, trying to keep me stuck inside my story, lying to me time and time again. I'm so sick and tired, I can't help but wondering, yeah, will this ever end? So here I am, stalking my enemy. Here I am, learning to see. Here I am, stalking my enemy, stalking deep inside of me. Stalking shadows deep inside, and past the mask in which I hide with my anger, pain, and pride. Judgment, fear, self-importance, self-pity speak in such loud voices. I remember I've got choices. Choose again. Choose again. Here I am, stalking my enemy. Here I am, learning to see. Here I am, stalking my enemy. Choose the one who really is me. Choosing to be free.
Stalking the enemy. What a gift to have that awareness. Thank you, Rudy, for the song, Hal for the wisdom. So we take this time now as we lift up this offering basket to invite you to support the work of the Circle with your financial donations as we speak the words, I give to you, O Spirit, as you have given to me, with heart wide open. Together, I give to you, O Spirit, as you have given to me, with heart wide open. So there are ways that you can donate. You can donate on our celebrationscircle.org page. We have Venmo and PayPal. Facebook's an option. So give if you can. It makes a difference, and it keeps us able to continue offering these gifts to you each Sunday and Wednesday night meditations. And if you have names or situations for the prayer circle, please send those in here on the comments on Facebook or YouTube, or you can also email circle@celebrationscircle.org with your prayer requests. In this concept of us continuing to offer things for you, we're very excited that this Monday night, tomorrow, yes, tomorrow night, our dear friend Natalie Burtonshaw, who is a licensed social worker and creator, will be offering an intention mandala workshop. And this workshop allows you to take some time in meditation to imagine what your intentions, to find images, and then to create a mandala that you can use as a focus for yourself and your dreams and goals. So we have it set up as a Facebook event. It'll be a Zoom call. So I know we're all kind of tired of those, but it'll be inspirational, creative, and a way to touch into your dreams and yourself. That's tomorrow, Monday, from 6 to 8. And if you go to celebrationscircle.org, there is a link on the events page, or you can go to Facebook events and find the link, the Zoom link there. So I want to bring back Hal as we, let's see. I think I've got it. Here we go. As we, hey.
Thank you, Brother Hal, once again for your words. And we want to invoke also a gratitude for Sister Germaine Sittinggrow, who brought you to the circle, or you brought to the circle, who brought us all together in a good way in this relationship.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity, really.
We're so grateful. it is, everyone always has such wonderful things to say about your talks, and they always
Upila, thank you.
touch my heart. I say every time, this is exactly what I needed to hear. So thanks for
That's
making
not
it.
what I heard.
What?
What?
Yeah.
So
Well, I have
we
this advantage where I'm doing the thing we're doing now. On my wall over there is a portrait of Sister.
Oh,
Every time I look up, I'm looking at that. She's standing there with her feathers and her smudge bowl and giving me the eye. And it's good. It's good. Anyway, thank you all very much. Good
she's
for my
always
heart.
with us. Yeah,
Upila.
good for ours too.
Thanks
you.
for being on the clock today in
Yeah.
a good way. Oh,
And hanging in on the technology glitch.
Yeah.
yeah.
So we're going to remember here that love is the only power and love is the only way as we watch our circle grow. And we hope you'll sing along with us.
Love is the only power. Love is the only way. Love, 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 love. Watch our circle grow. Love is the only power. Love is the only way. Love, 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 love. Watch our circle grow.
Thank you. And we invite you to remember that wherever you go, whatever you do, we love you, we bless you, we see the light in you. So again, thank you, Hal.
Okay. Later.
Okay, bye-bye.
Blessing, brother.
And I just want to say that I think I want to thank Carl Franklin for taking care of our comments on Facebook and being the Celebration Circle voice on Sunday mornings. We are grateful. And we will see you next Sunday. No, we'll see you tomorrow at 6 o'clock for the Intention Mandala workshop. We're very excited. There's a list of supplies that you need, but it's very simple things you'll have around. Some magazines,
Paper.
and scissors, and glue, and your heart. Blessings. Bye-bye.